Want to make some money? Stay with us all the way to the end. I'm Lawrence Presman. This is WagerTalk Today, and we are the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Great lineup today. Ross Benjamin back and with some good news. He's going to look at the Tennessee-Kentucky game. That game's on ESPN. Purdue against Michigan. That's on Peacock. And Yukon against Creighton, CBS. 3 games on television. Ross will tell you exactly how to bet each. Andy Lang after that. A whole bunch of prop bets. NBA, UFC, Skee Profit, some college hoops, and NBA. And we're going to end the show with Gianni the Greek. But first and foremost, Ross Benjamin, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Prez. I'm glad to be back. You know, it was a little trying time over the last month. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and had to go through major surgery, and that had an ensuing infection. So it was a trying time, but I met with the surgeon/urologist last week, and there's no signs of any further cancer and over the infection, so I'm rearing to go. And for all the viewers out there, I appreciate all your kind words and well wishes. And I would encourage anybody over the age of 50 right now, make sure you get your annual blood work done, because catching prostate cancer early is the key, and it saved my life. Hopefully it will save yours by following that.
Well, there we go, guys. A public service announcement from Ross. Please, if you're over the age of 40, not 50. Yeah. Let's go with 40. Get your prostate checked. And hey, some of you guys might even enjoy the process. My friend Chuck goes to this stunning doctor of Indian descent, and he loves having his prostate checked. He does it regularly. So please do that. And Ross, outstanding news, dude. I'm so happy that you are cancer-free and back with us finding winners. Let's turn our attention to a real high-profile game between Tennessee and Kentucky. And look, Kentucky, not the team that we are familiar with, and they've lost 4 of their last 6 games. They did just whoop South Carolina 80-57. But now they play this Tennessee, which is, well, lights out. Winners of 3 in a row as well. They just beat Oklahoma, Miz, and Florida. Tennessee on the road, -2.5 to 3, a total of 149.5. How do you plan on betting this game?
Well, thank you again for the kind words at the top there, Prez. But here's the thing. Kentucky is coming off that blowout win against South Carolina, but that's a South Carolina team that's dead last in the SEC standings right now, so I wouldn't get too carried away with that. Tennessee will be playing with revenge tonight, and that's a huge factor for me when handicapping this game. That's stemming from a 78-73 home loss to Kentucky a couple weeks ago. But since then, the Volunteers have gone 3-0 with quality wins over Oklahoma, Missouri, and Florida. Those 3 teams, by the way, a combined 54-17 record. So they played very well since being upset by Kentucky at home. They're coming off a 70-52 win at Oklahoma in their previous game, in which they shot 60% from the floor. And this is a Tennessee team that's gone 6-0 straight up this year after shooting 50% or better in their previous game, winning by over 25 points per game. Prez, you mentioned it. They're I got 2-3 in their last 5, and also that includes a 10-point home loss to Arkansas, who's just 3-7 in SEC play. I don't see Kentucky beating Tennessee twice in the regular season, and I am going to lay the small number with Tennessee against Kentucky, Prez.
There we go, guys. Ross Benjamin likes Tennessee. You can get -2.5, -118 out there. So if you're betting that, I know Bill Sandoval, one of our listeners, B Daddy got +3.5 earlier. So, hey, maybe it lands on 3, Bill, and you win both. Ross, let's turn our attention to Michigan. They're playing Purdue, and as we discussed, this game is on national TV, Peacock. Michigan, these are two really hot teams right now. A 19-5 Purdue, 18-5 Michigan. Michigan has won 4 in a row, 8 of their last 9. But they're not annihilating teams, Ross. They won 70-67, 80-76, and 66-63. They're playing this Purdue team that can lay the smackdown on teams. They just whooped USC 90-70 and put up 90 plus, Ross, 3 of the last 4 games. The total here is 151.5. Michigan is basically a pick, a -1.5. But if you do plan on betting Michigan, take them on the money line. Ross, help us navigate this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where you have to read between the lines from my perspective, with no pun intended. I mean, you mentioned how hot Purdue is, 11-1 in their last 12, including winning their last 4. On top of that, they already faced Michigan at home this year, and they annihilated them 91-64. Yet the odds makers have this game as a virtual even game, as Prez alluded to. Michigan, like Prez touched upon, 4-0 in their last 4, but all 4 of those wins by 4 points or less. But you know what? They're not going to get rattled in a close game, which I think this one is going to be tonight. They know how to win in those circumstances. They've proven that over that 4-game win streak. And a final note, this is a Michigan team that's a perfect 11-0 at home this season, Prez. I am going to play Michigan on the money line at either -120 or -125, whatever you can get. But again, Prez makes a good point. It's always a good idea when you have point spread this low and you're laying it with the favorite to use the reasonably sized money line price instead of the point spread.
Yeah, guys, if you watch this show on a regular basis, Ralph Michaels, Teddy, and myself did a deep dive into whether it is more effective in the long run to bet a basketball play at -1, -1.5, and -2 versus the money line. It is always a better proposition, roughly 2% better, which is substantial, betting the money line on any basketball game at -2 or less. And this is information you don't get elsewhere. This is information you don't get from the 20-year-old parlay lunatics on Twitter. That's why you log into this show every day, 12, because we give you guys the best long-term and short-term betting information out there. Ross, it is $5 Tuesday today over at WagerTalk. Every handicapper takes their best play, makes it $5 for our customers. What do you have going for the clients tonight?
$5 winning total, Michigan State and Indiana. And my totals are on a real hot run right now, folks. 60% over the last 2 years with college basketball totals. You can see all my hot streaks right at my personal page, wt.buzz/RB. I also have a college basketball underdog 2-0 package up, 2 for 1, I call it, because I'm only charging you $19 where it normally would be $38 for these picks individually. So great stuff going on right now at WagerTalk for not only all of us, but myself, Ross Benjamin. And again, check out my hot streaks at wt.buzz/RB.
There we go. Ross Benjamin joining us. We've got one last game to take apart. This is a sexy game as well, Ross. You'll find it on CBS. It's Yukon versus Creighton, and strangely, Creighton dominates this matchup. 8-2 in their last 10 against Yukon. Didn't see that coming. They're -4.5, a total of 142.5. And well, let me tell you this, Creighton's one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They've won 9 straight games, and not against Cal State, Northridge, or Pacific. Marquette, Providence, Villanova, Xavier. I mean, this is a team that is whooping teams, and they've already played Yukon this year and beat them 68-63 in Yukon. How are we attacking this game?
Yeah, look, Creighton's one of the hottest teams in the country, and Yukon is sort of so-so right now. I mean, they're coming off a 68-62 home loss to a very good St. John's team. But the Huskies are just 4-4 in their last 8 games, as Prez just touched upon. Creighton are red hot 9-0 in their last 9, and including that 68-63 win at Yukon. It's not tough. It's not easy to win at Yukon by any stretch of the imagination. And in that game, they held Yukon to just 5 free throw attempts. So Creighton very disciplined on the defensive end. And that's no fluke because they're number 1 in the nation right now in free throw attempts allowed. So you have to earn it against Creighton. And they're coming off a 10-point home win against Marquette. And they're now 6-0 in conference home games this year, Prez, winning by 12 points per game. I'm going to take the red-hot Creighton Blue Jays over a Yukon team that's a little bit underachieving right now.
There we go. Ross Benjamin, everyone. And check him out over at WagerTalk, $5 Tuesday. He's got a total bet on the Michigan State game. Ross, again, wonderful news. Lots of love. You bloody well better stay cancer-free. We need you at WagerTalk, and I need you as my friend. Thanks for doing this, brother.
Thank you so much, Prez.
Great show still to come, guys. Andy Lang, Skee Profit, Gianni the Greek, and I'm gonna talk some Super Bowl prop bets with Gianni the Greek. I want to go backwards because I want to make a mention of a couple of tweets I saw yesterday. So stay with us till the end. Before we bring on Andy Lang, I want to mention it's $5 Tuesday. I've already said that to you guys. I have a college basketball total up for tonight, and my totals across the board have been absolutely outstanding. To give you guys perspective, in all my basketball totals, I'm on a 7-2, 14-4 run, 22-9 run. My college basketball totals just massive, 29-17 run, 7-3 run, and up huge over the last 3 seasons. It's only $5. It's my second 4% college basketball player of the year. Yes, that is correct. Like 90% of my plays are 3% and lower. This is only my second 4% play of the year in college basketball. It is a total. You can get it for $5. And lastly, I mentioned yesterday that I watched American Prime Full. I thought it was incredible. And I also watched Landman, and I thought it was incredible. But neither of those 2 shows are better than the show I'm going to suggest to you guys right now. This show, to me, is in the top 10 of all-time shows. And season 2, which just came out a couple of weeks ago, I binged watched completely, was an absolute epic masterpiece. This show, ladies and gentlemen, is found on Amazon Prime. It's called SAS Rogue Heroes. Now, I read the book. It's top to bottom, written by Ben McIntyre. It's an absolute incredible read. The series is phenomenal. The actor who plays Patty Main deserves an Oscar, Grammy, or I don't know, Academy. That's what it is. It's an Academy. Anyway, I could not recommend a show more. It is the true story of the first ever Special Forces, the SAS out of Britain, and how they were formed and what they did during World War II. It is spectacular. Slightly better than Prison Break, wouldn't you say, Andy Lang?
So the ongoing joke is I started to watch Prison Break. I didn't watch it when it first came out. So it popped up on Netflix, and the first season is really good. And then it gets so bad that I can't turn it off. I'm going forward with it, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It's not a comedy, but it is a comedy. I've laughed more at this show than I have like Seinfeld. It is an absolute train wreck after the first season. It's wild. Some of the things that happen in that show is hilarious.
I think it's a train wreck from the beginning. I think it's got 2 of the worst actors in history. There's a reason Wentworth Miller has no career elsewhere, and whoever the hell plays Lincoln, Dominique something or other, Purcelli If I'm right, that's impressive. There's a reason those two guys do not have a career. As for JP writes, are you wanting to say American Prime Evil? No, Justin. It's Primeville. Primeval. It is not American Prime Evil. Andy, that show is incredible. Oh my God.
Isn't it amazing?
Kim Coates, Brigham Young. Oh my God. Oh, I got one episode left, so don't ruin it, okay? But yeah, man, that show is ridiculous, but it is not better than Rogue Heroes. Let's get into some NBA prop bets. You got an NBA, a UFC, and a NASCAR coming our way. Malik Beasley. Let's start there.
Yeah, Beasley's been on fire. Over 3.5 3-pointers. And normally on 3-pointers, Prez, I do not like playing numbers this big. I like trying to just hit the over 1.5 3-pointers. But I can't ignore these trends. He's gone over an 8 out of 10. He's taking 10 attempts per game, and he's making 5 of them in the last 10. He's shooting 41.7% from threes, and he gets the dream matchup against the Chicago Bulls. Prez, there are some teams that have just given up on defense. Like, defense is completely optional, and Chicago is one of them. They've given up 127.5 points per game in their last 4 games. So it's a skeleton crew. The tank is in for Chicago. So there's going to be a few teams that are just playing horrific defense that you're going to want to focus on some overs on opponents, and the Bulls are absolutely one of them. So yeah, let's take Malik Beasley over 3.5 3-pointers.
There we go. Andy, Ketlin Souza, -108, fighting Angela Hill. How do we attack this one? And I'm going to ask Gianni. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so I would no, by all means. By the way, can I toot my own horn? I'm going to toot my own horn.
I was going to do wait. I was going to do it for you. So
okay.
We love Kyle Anthony. Kyle Anthony is incredible better in the UFC. But he had a 5% play against you, and he was drowning his sorrows with a delicious-looking Bloody Caesar with pepperoni and bacon on the top. And then 3 tweets below, Andy won that 5% play. So congratulations, brother. And it's always nice when standing alone.
We were on an island. Our 5% was on Weili Zhang, and the fight actually played out exactly how we thought it would and how we predicted it. And we were on an island, and yeah, it felt good to get that one. That being said, Kyle, I believe, is still number 1 last 365 days.
Yeah, so, he's incredible.
He's on a great run. So, but we're number 1 this year. That's what I'm going to hang my hat on. But let's talk Ketlin Souza and Angela Hill. It's earlier in the week, but I noticed the line started to move towards Souza, and that's why I like to win. She was even money. Now she's down to -110. So I think people are seeing what I'm seeing. Angela Hill's 40 years old, and she's had a pretty nice, I don't want to say resurgence, but she's looked pretty good back to back. She beat Gomez and Pinheiro. But then she took on a step up in competition, Tabitha Ricci, and Tabitha Ricci was way too much for her. And I think Souza's going to do the same thing. Ricci has this insane pace and cardio, and she's sloppy with her punching. Souza's not quite as fast, but her striking is pretty good. She had a really impressive finish against Wargi. And Prez, I'm fading these older fighters. This has been a theme for the last year. Some of these well-known fighters that we've watched for a long time, they're getting up there in age. And over the last year, I've just been blindly fading these fighters that get up to 40 or look like they're done. And Angela Hill, I think it's about time for her to slow down and start focusing on her announcing career. She's very good about that. She's looked good in her last couple fights. But Souza's the younger fighter. Her power, quickness, energy, I think she's going to have the advantage. Close fight, but I'm going to take Souza before this line moves anymore. You're muted, Prez. I'll go right. I'll go on to my NASCAR play. I'll go on to my NASCAR play, Dan. All right, we're going to go Kyle Busch. And we're going to take a future on him under 1.5 wins this season. Those of you that watch NASCAR know Kyle Busch did not have any wins last year. He's on a bad team. And now what's happening is he's really pissed off. He's openly throwing fits during the race. He's mad all the time. He hates his car. He hates his team. He hates his life. He probably hates his lunch that he had today, actually. There's just way too many better cars and drivers that are younger, more motivated, and have better backing than Kyle Busch. I don't think he's going to win a race this year, let alone two. So I will gladly lay minus 140 and take Kyle Busch to not win two races this year. Oh boy. Prez, you're still muted. All right. I will keep going here. I got some parlay pieces that I was going to mention for everybody here. This isn't like a super specific play, but there are some juiced parlay pieces that if you guys are looking for parlay pieces, throw these in. Swiatek at the WTA Doha tournament, take her to win 2-0 over Noskova. I have an insane stat. Swiatek's won this tournament 3 years in a row. She hasn't lost a set since 2022. And this is only minus 215. It's actually bettable on its own, but minus 215, someone that hasn't lost a set in 3 years, that's amazing. Real Madrid just to score a goal against Man City later today. And then we'll get into darts a little bit more in the darts video, but you can take Luke Littler money line over Rob Cross. Rob Cross is he got a win last week, but it did not look that impressive, and Littler lost in the first round. So this is going to be a revenge spot for Littler. That's a really good parlay piece for everybody.
Don't move, don't breathe. Is it working?
Yes, you're great.
I didn't even touch anything. Eddie DCL Dogs, one of our listeners, writes, ICC Championship Trophy coming. That's in cricket.
Yes.
Any chance that you and I can do some cricket bets, or is that a non-option? Today.
No, we
not
actually.
Today.
No. Yeah. I'll be happy to talk cricket in that. We have a guy that does fantastic cricket bets in our Discord. We've been cashing. I really wanted to take Australia today, but I don't think they've got I don't think they're motivated. I think the game means nothing to them. And then we were going to take India again over England, but again, I think that game doesn't mean it. Actually, the Australia one, I'm wrong on that one. It's the India and England one. India's just been waxing England, but you got to worry about the motivation factor. But yes, when the ICC comes up, we will absolutely talk cricket. Cricket's a cash cow.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed. And England is changing cricket in front of our eyes right now, Andy. I don't know what you know about cricket. I'm obsessed with the sport. It's incredible. But the captain of the cricket team, I mean, this is the most aggressive cricket team we've ever seen. It is 4s and 6s all day long. Really exciting team to watch. With that said, no team in the world is better than Australia. And I think that's what will end up happening. We will have an England-Australia ending with India knocking on the door. Andy Lang, everyone, what do you got to promote on $5 Tuesday?
You know, we've been on a really, really hot streak in NBA, but today I decided to sit out for official plays. We were on an 8-1 run, and it was just like, today's not the day to fire on something big for clients. So we put up a NASCAR play. We're back doing NASCAR. We started to pick up steam on NASCAR towards the end of the year, and we're going to be back with that. So there's a $5 NASCAR play if you guys want to grab that one. But we have our 5% UFC play that is up 3-0 this year in 5% UFC plays, number one in profits on WagerTalk this year. This year couldn't have started off much better for us in UFC. So you want a $5 NASCAR play, go get it. But really the 5% UFC plays has been what's hitting. So WT.buzz/AL.
Andy, no disrespect, but I cannot understand NASCAR for the life of me. I did watch, as I watch everything, I watched the NASCAR show on Netflix.
It's stupid. The shows are dumb. They don't have the personalities like they used to. Everyone's kind of boring, and the characters that we used to have, like Kyle Busch, who has no problem saying what's on his mind and upsetting sponsors and such. But now everybody just kind of is vanilla. I don't find the drivers interesting at all. You're 100% right.
Yeah, well, with that said, everybody likes Bush. Andy Lang, everyone.
Hey! Good luck. Have a great day, guys.
Love you, brother. Be good. Guys, yesterday I gave out a free college basketball bet for you all. Clemson, it wasn't even close. Skee Profit will join us. Then I will give out another free client bet in college hoops. And then we'll end the show with the great Gianni the Greek. Skee Profit, my brother. How are you, dude?
I don't know how I'm awake, but I'm okay. I can't complain. My life is pretty good. How are you?
Well, you're definitely slightly swollen, so I understand you're half asleep. We're lucky. Listen, a half awake Skee is still better than most. How pumped are you about Luka? It really looks like the Lakers could make a big run this year, and it would be nice to see LeBron win and then move off to the sunset. With that said, I'm cheering for Oklahoma because, well, hey, Shea is on that team. So what do you think? You happy about the Luka pickup?
I'm absolutely happy, and it was nice to see in that last game. I love the way the team looked. The offense would be great. One of the trades that the Lakers got was rescinded, so we'll see if they can make an addition in free agency. But I like the direction that the team is heading in.
Yep. Skee Profit joining us. And guys, Skee is incredible in both NBA and college basketball. We're going to start with college basketball. We've got number 6 Florida playing number 22 Mississippi State. This game is on ESPN2. It'll generate a lot of betting action. So tell our listeners how you are going to bet this game.
Yeah, this one is interesting. I feel like with the line so low, they're almost begging you to take Florida. And I really don't like to be on the sides where they're begging you to, where I feel like they're begging you to take it. But I still do think Florida is the much better team here. A couple ways I'm looking at this game. You have Elijah Martin coming back. He's their second leading scorer, so that should only help. They're coming off back-to-back games with 20-plus assists, so they've been playing good offensively and taking down a team like Auburn. That should give them a lot of confidence. A lot of people look at it as a letdown, but after they already just lost to Tennessee recently, I think they're motivated to continue winning. I like the first half in this game. Florida's 19-4 ATS in the first half. I think they come out and throw the first punch, and the big advantage for them is on the boards. Like, regardless if they make their shots, their first shot or not, they're number 4 offensive rated team, or offensive rebounding team, and they're going up against Mississippi State, who is number 211 defensive rebounds. They only have, I think, guys that are 6'7", and they're going up against a couple guys who are 6'10" and 6'11". So big advantage for the Gators down there. And I just think that the Gators are a much better team. They're a better three-point shooting team, and I like them in the first half. I'm sorry I don't have the line for you guys, but I like them to be up in the first half.
There we go. Skee Profits. Let's go into some NBA action. The Knicks playing Indiana. Hart is day-to-day. Anunoby is day-to-day. Here we have a situation where the New York Knicks, 34-18 on the year, is minus 2.5 playing Indiana. And Skee, Indiana, off of a loss against the Lakers. But other than that, they've won 7 of their last 10 games. I think there might be some value on Indiana here. I'm curious where you're going.
Well, I think Miles Turner is a big question mark for that team. They would definitely need to have him out there, especially versus Karl Anthony Towns. So if he's not out there, the Pacers are in big trouble. And regardless, if he is in, I think the Knicks will be really motivated after the big loss that they just had versus Celtics. I think they lost by close to 30 points. The couple games that I've seen them rested, playing after losing as an underdog, they've covered both times. One of those times was against the Pacers earlier in the season. They beat them 123-98. This is a team that they know they can beat, a team I think they're better than. The only thing I don't like is OG Anunoby is probably not going to play in this game, and I think he's a big piece. But it's Knicks or pass for me. And as far as the total, I would agree with the market moving it up. I mean, I'm still not sure it's high enough. You look at Pacers games, for one as a home dog, they're 5-0 to the over. But like I said, you're missing defense with OG Anunoby. Both teams will be. I mean, the Pacers will pace them up, and the Knicks will be okay playing up tempo. So, over or Knicks are the ways to play this game for me.
Yeah, B Daddy, one of our best listeners, he likes over 239.5 in that game as well. Skee Profit, before we get into Detroit playing Chicago, it's $5 Tuesday. What do you have to promote?
Yeah, I have college basketball play. It's my top play of the day, and on my top plays, 3% or higher in college basketball this season, I've won 75%, 15 out of 20. So, if you would like to be involved, you can get it right here at WagerTalk for $5.
There we go. Skee, let's turn our attention to this Detroit Pistons Chicago Bulls game. And look, I think Chicago is done. I mean, are they going to win another game? Of course they are. But this is a team that I actually think is legitimately in the middle of tanking. They're 22-31 on the season. There's no sun that is shining on them. And the Pistons, it feels like they're changing cultures here. They're trying to win. They're 27-26. They're minus 4.5 on the road in this game, coming off of 2 wins in a row, Charlotte and Philadelphia. I don't want to bet on Chicago. I will very likely will not be betting on Chicago again this year. I'm curious what's your take on Chicago as a whole and on this game specifically.
I agree with your assessment. I mean, they're clearly sellers at the deadline. They even wanted to get rid of Vucevic if they could have. So they're not really trying to win right now. I agree with that 100%. And I agree with your assessment that the Pistons kind of changing culture a little bit. And I think Cade is the right person to do it with. So I think it's interesting, for one, that the Bulls have the rest advantage here. The Bulls are at home, and the Pistons are still a 5-point favorite. I think that's pretty telling of where these teams are, what direction they're heading in. So I would agree that the Pistons can win this one by margin. But more than that, like I mentioned, it's just the one guy I really trust more than anybody else is Cade Cunningham. I'd pretty much rock with his PRA, anything under 43. So that's the way I'm looking at this. Either Pistons or Cade props over.
Yeah, I got 2 young boys in the house. My wife's 2 sons, 16 and 14. And I think the cool term is I'll F with that. I'll F with the Pistons. Is that what the cool kids are saying? I don't understand the lingo today.
That's very appropriate. Very appropriate.
Okay, there we go. Skee Profit, dude, go back to sleep. Love having you with us, man. And congratulations. Great on the Lakers, on your basketball success. But it is early and you can still catch 3 hours. So later, my brother.
Appreciate
Thanks for doing this. Always. Skee Profits, everyone. Okay, guys, let me give you out a free college basketball bet for tonight. And this is an actual client play. It is Murray State. They are minus 1.5. And like we spoke about a little earlier in the show, anytime you get a basketball play at minus 2 or less, please take them on the money line. You can find Murray State at minus 135. And let me just get into this straight off the bat. This is a revenge game for Murray State. They just lost to this very team in overtime in their last meeting, 97-93. How about that? Yet the total in this game is only 146.5. Now, I don't have the total. I like Murray State here, coming off of a win, 74-56 against Val. Look, here's the bottom line. They get them in their building. And they're playing great defense right now. Murray State is holding their last 2 teams to under 60 points. So we have it in Murray State's building. They're playing outstanding defense. They have a great revenge setup in play. And the line is a pick 'em. Take them on the money line. Murray State is the play. And look, if you guys, I know there might be a couple of 2.5s out there. I have no problem if you bet this game up to 3. So I like it on the money line, but I also like it all the way up to 3. Take Murray State. As for our final guest, we'll bring him on right after I show you guys Dan Alexander's outfit for the Super Bowl. Dan? So, Dan, can you explain? Okay, so the mask is absurd. The t-shirt
mask
is
was a bit
fine.
much.
But
the
I want to know.
T-shirt was the lucky shirt. The mask was a bit much. The Rey Mysterio mask was a bit much.
Yes, but I do want to really focus on these pants.
Yeah, the pants are a bit much too.
Like, is this an outfit you would wear outside?
So I was imbibing a little bit during the game. So after the game, we actually did go for some victory ice cream, and I wore this exact outfit out. So I got some comments on it. I'll send you the video, Prez. I was dancing at an ice cream shop. Maybe we'll share that with the folks. But yeah, so these pants, the backstory of them, when the Eagles were in their first Super Bowl, well, not their first Super Bowl, but the one that they beat Tom Brady in 2017, all of my nieces and nephews were over watching, and they were young, so they got matching pajamas. So I said to my sister, make sure you get me a matching pair of pajamas with my, 3 and 4 year old niece and nephews. So these are child's pants that have now become my big game pants. So I didn't wear them last Super Bowl. I wore them this time. They're undefeated in the Super Bowl. So much like you, Prez, who I have learned from, these are my lucky Super Bowl pants. And you know all about lucky pants getting you winners, man. And that's all I was trying to do. I was trying to do my part.
Well, listen, outstanding outfit, and glad your team won. I bet them myself. Gianni the Greek joining us. How are you, brother? How was your last night?
I went 1 and 2. Didn't have a lot of volume yesterday. I took that Miami money line because they got ahead of, but I didn't get there, obviously. I missed my college basketball, hit my other play, but doing really good. Over, I think, an 8.5% ROI in NBA and college basketball combined since January 1st. So, yeah, it's that good time of year, man. I'm glad we're running well heading into this exciting March Madness that's just now a month away.
Yeah, and guys,
tournaments.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. By the way, I had Boston -3 in the first half, so that was I think it was 52-43 ending. So I cashed that ticket. Went 3-1 for my clients last night. Guys, if you want to try 30 days of Gianni the Greek, myself, Skee, Ross Benjamin, Andy Lang, we have an incredible promo up right now. It's 30 days for less than $8 a day. It is a really effective way to be betting us. Please check that out. And, ultimately, the long term is the way to bet with us. Buying a daily package is so hard. I mean, it's like we have to win on demand, and winning on demand is not easy for anybody. Over a 30-day period, you are more likely going to win than lose. Send any stuff you want us to. Okay. I don't know what Andy's. Yeah. Okay. No worries. Gianni, before we get into anything else, here's what I want to talk to you about. So I was on Twitter last night, and a really, really talented host on Sports Grid, Gabriel Morency, he tweeted out something I love him too. He's an amazing. I actually went to a Raptor game with Gabe and Cam, huge fans of both. But I want to address a tweet that Gabe sent out. And he writes, being an idiot is not a bad beat. Now, what that is in relation to is somebody wagered at DraftKings $2,200 to win 100. So that Butker will get one or more extra point. That never happened. And that guy lost. And Gabriel is calling the guy who made that bet an idiot. I'd like to speak about that really quickly, Gianni, because offhand, if you make that bet in 22 Super Bowls, you are going to win 21 times. If you make that bet since the day the Super Bowl started, you're going to win at a way better average than 22-1. So, Mr. Morency, who I love dearly, you could not be more wrong on your tweet. That was not an idiot bet. That was actually an incredible bet. The value of that bet should have been 50-1. The value was there for that person. And yeah, sure, that one game, there was no extra point. But if that gentleman had made that bet since day one of the Super Bowl, he would be up an incredible sum of money. So, Gianni, let's talk really briefly about these huge minus 2,200 bets, because there is a massive misconception out there. Value is not about whether it's a plus or a minus. Value is about how many times does it happen, and can you get the value under that math equation? There was a huge amount of value on that bet.
That's right now. This is what I was doing, seeing what the break even is on minus 2,200. It's 95.6%. So if you're going to cash that ticket more than 95.6% of the time, it was a good bet. So you got to get, let's say we want about 2% edge. So it's got to get to about 98.5%. That should happen. You could do the math and actually we could look backwards, and all you have to do is look at Bucker's career with Kansas City, Bucker this year with Kansas City in Super Bowls, what the Eagles have allowed, and you could come up with the exact number, the exact percentage of what it is. And I would venture a guess that it is greater than 95.5%. That's the right side. And you're getting value. And a perfect example of this, I had Bo Nickel on my podcast after he was on the Contender Series. And I said, Bo, when the line first opened, you were minus 1,100. Then you got the minus 2,000. Then you got the minus 2,500. And I was telling him, where should we have stopped betting it? And I got all the way up to where it was the break even was like 98.5%. And he said, you still should have bet me. The only way I lost that fight is if I hurt myself. He said, as soon as I felt the guy, I knew he posed no threat to me at all. There was zero chance he was going to beat me. I would have had to beat myself in that fight. He's like, so believe it or not, I don't want to sound crazy, but even at a break even of 98%, you still had at least a 1.5% edge that I was going to beat that opponent. So that's simply what it comes down to. It doesn't make it a bad bet because it didn't cash. We talk about that all the time. Bad bets win all the time, just like good bets lose all the time. I mean, what else can you do about it in when you're looking at one shot? But if you look at the big picture, the law of big numbers is probably going to, I think, reflect that wasn't a terrible bet. It was just a bet that lost. And I think I probably didn't have a ton of value. I don't think he had like a 5% edge, obviously. But obviously he didn't make a bad bet. I think it was plus EV. If gun the head, I would assume it's plus EV with Bucker.
I couldn't agree more. Gianni, you and I are old enough to know that 30 years ago, every major bet was minus $1 million. I mean, Muhammad Ali won a lot of money for people, and they were betting him regularly at minus 1,300, minus 1,800. This don't bet these huge favorites. This is a new thing. And people must keep in mind, like they say, minus 2,200 to win 100. Guys, in a 4-hour period, where are you going to get a return like that? Not in the stock market, not with Bitcoin, not with gold. There's no place on the planet that you will get a greater return on investment in a 4-hour period than that. So don't be afraid of making those types of bets. Gianni, let's get into what is going on tonight for you and your syndicates out there.
All right. So far, we placed about 10 plus bets, 3 in the NBA, the rest in college basketball, all sides except for one total. We got down in the NBA, 562, Philadelphia 76ers minus 9, 566, Chicago Bulls plus the 5, and then 568, the Phoenix Suns plus the 4.5 and 4. Then in college basketball from top to bottom, 609 Eastern Michigan plus the 6, 611 Central Michigan plus the 7, 624 Mississippi State plus the 2, 632 Miami, Florida, Moneyline and minus 1.5, 633 Southeastern Missouri State plus the 5.5, 642 St. Louis on the Moneyline and plus 1, 680 Kansas minus 16.5, 654 Texas plus 4.5, 661 Pitt plus 5.5, 665 Air Force plus 15, and the only total last game more or less on the board, Northwestern Oregon under 142.5 and 142. So that's everything up until about 12:30 p.m. Eastern that we bet in the NBA and college basketball. As I said, I think I've released so far NBA play and 4% college basketball play already, and still going to dig into it. It's very early.
Gianni, we've mentioned cricket before on this show. Cricket, by the way, is, I think, the second most bet sport in the world. It is the second most watched sport in the world. And we have the ICC Championship starting in a week. Are you going to be able to get us any good cricket bets at all? Do you have a cricket syndicate out there?
No, I have a guy offshore, but he doesn't really send a cricket at all. To be honest with you, I've probably seen one bet in the last 2+ years. But out of nowhere, I got a women's college basketball future today that I've put out for my $5 Tuesday. I'm like, dude, I got to share that. I almost never see that. And I saw it in multiple accounts, and they almost never bet futures because the hold is so high. But obviously they thought this team at greater than 10-1 put you in a good position to have equity going into maybe the Final Four. So I had to bet it. I had to put it out there. If I see any cricket, I promise you'll be the first one I send it to before I even do anything with it. Prez, you will get a text. You will get a text with cricket. I swear to you.
I want to know, dude. I'm pumped about cricket starting. And if you guys don't know anything about that sport, watch The Test. It's on Amazon Prime. Excellent, excellent show. And really, behind NFL football, the second most strategic sport ever. Gianni, so your $5 Tuesday play is a WNBA futures bet.
No, college basketball. I misspoke. NCAA basketball women's future bet to win the NCAA tournament. That's even better than WNBA. Exactly. That's so far away. Yes. It's coming up. Yeah. And let you know, as long as you get at 10-1 or better, which is available, I got plus 1,200 easily. Now, again, it's been a few hours since we bet it, but they don't move those very much because of this pari-mutuel kind of betting. So you should be able to get better than 10-1 on that ticket easily. I also have a package up with a 4% in there for NBA and college basketball and a UFC package for Saturday, already a 4% loaded. So yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. Super Bowl's over. I'm positive for 2025, which is a good thing, even though I'm coming off a losing Super Bowl. Chiefs didn't get there. One-sided game. What can you do? Got to move on the college basketball, NBA, and everything else the market offers us.
There we go. Gianni the Greek, everyone. What a freaking show. Shout out to Ross Benjamin. Congratulations to him. Cancer-free. Lots of love, Ross. Shout out to Andy Lang, Skee Profit, Gianni the Greek, Dan Alexander, the producer, and myself. Please hit that like button. Please leave comments. They're very important. Kelly Stewart, the wonderful and talented Kelly Stewart, hosting tomorrow's show. So make sure to check that out. Her guests will be Pavlos for some soccer, Andy Lang, Ralph Michaels, and Gianni the Greek. I'll be back on Thursday. Lots of love, everyone. Take care of yourself.